Netflix has never been shy about going and making certain shows and movies that appeal to a certain audience, for better and for worse. But one that quite literally gripped the nation when it happened was that of Making a Murderer, the tale of a man who had been arrested, convicted, then proven innocent years later, only to be arrested again and locked up in prison. The questions of justice, morality, and intent were ripe within the show, and for both parts 1 and 2, it made people wonder about the legal system as a whole. So, allow us to show you things you need to remember from Making a Murderer. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The series, an overview. The show Making a Murderer is about the story of Stephen Avery, a man from Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, who served 18 years in prison for the wrongful conviction of sexual assault and attempted murder of Penny Beernson. And to be clear, he was indeed 100% innocent of that, and it was proven in various ways over the years, showing a true miscarriage of justice. However, his newly won freedom didn't last, because he was charged again in 2005 and convicted in 2007 for the murder of Teresa Halbach. Then there was Brendan Dassey, his nephew, who was accused and convicted as an accessory in the murder. So right off the bat, we have a very difficult situation on multiple levels, and that's where the show came into play. The first season detailed the years of 1985 and 2007, portraying Avery's 1985 arrest and conviction, his subsequent exoneration and release in 2003, the civil lawsuit Avery filed against Manitowoc County, his 2005 arrest, and his ensuing trial and conviction in 2007. It also depicts the arrest, prosecution, and conviction of Avery's nephew, Brendan Dassey, focusing on the accusations of coercion and attorney ineptitude, which, to be clear, has absolutely happened in various cases over the years, and Avery's previous wrongful conviction shows that the justice system in Wisconsin is not 100% accurate. The second season explores the aftermath of both Avery's and Dassey's convictions, focusing on Avery's and Dassey's families, the investigation, and findings of Avery's new attorney, Kathleen Zellner, which corroborates the thesis of Avery's innocence and him being framed for the murder of Halbach, and Dassey's legal team's efforts in arguing in court that his confession was coerced by prosecutors. While it debuted in 2015, it was filmed over the course of 10 years, with the filmmakers moving back and forth from New York City to Wisconsin during filming, showing just how important it was for this filming crew to go and get the right details from the right people and follow the case wherever it led. Making a Murderer was not just acclaimed, it was a big award winner for Netflix, further adding to the accolades that they've gotten over the years. Making a Murderer was widely viewed and has generated considerable controversy both in Manitowoc County, the setting of events, and nationwide. A petition in December 2015 to the White House to pardon Avery garnered more than 500,000 signatures, showing just how strongly those who watched felt about the incident in question. But it didn't stop there. While there hasn't been a Part 3, this story is still continuing on in the media and in the courthouse, and things are only getting more curious and intense, which makes what was shown and revealed in the first 2 parts of Making a Murderer all the more important. Brendan's appeals. Let's start off with Brendan, because while many might think that the main person in this is Avery and that he's guilty, Brendan's role in this is easily one of the more controversial elements of both the case and what the show depicted. As noted, much of the case against Avery and Dassey was based on Brendan's confession, one that had been gotten using questionable techniques by the sheriffs involved, and how they were going and talking with Dassey, who was 17 at the time and thus a minor, without a lawyer present. This was a crux of the case, and especially after Making a Murderer came out, people wanted justice to make sure that this was being handled the right way. In August 2016, United States Magistrate Judge William E. Duffin ruled that Dassey's confession had been coerced and was therefore involuntary and unconstitutional, and ordered him released, which was obviously a huge win for Dassey and his team. But an appeal by another court blocked said release, and thus the case had to be heard again. This time around, though, it wouldn't be done with a more standard jury trial. but rather an en blanc, or judge panel case. It's not unheard of, it's just rarely talked about. Regardless, it was approved, and in that trial, the original conviction of Dassey was upheld, meaning that he wouldn't be released from prison. As of right now, he is still in prison for the various crimes he was accused of. His parole is currently set at 2048, though his team and others are trying to work hard to figure out how to go and prove definitively that the evidence against him was coerced and that he deserves to be free. Whether that happens is a bit up in the air right now, as many appeals and other attempts to get him free have been ignored or straight up blocked. Even the Supreme Court of the US was asked to overlook a retrial/appeal, and they removed the case from their docket without explanation, which is incredibly odd given that they're the highest court in the land, and they should have said something as to why it didn't get brought before them. Stephen Avery. As for the main man in the case, Stephen Avery, he too is behind bars still, and if he's not able to be released via appeals or being proven innocent, he's going to be in there for the rest of his life. However, to say that he has lost hope would be a lie. Despite being in prison for literally decades between his various crimes, both legitimate and false, he maintains that he is innocent of this crime that he has been accused of. Furthermore, due to the media coverage and what was revealed in Making a Murderer, he's not only got a fan base rooting for him to get free, but his lawyer is working tirelessly to try and get him out. Should he be proven innocent, and we need to be clear that the emphasis is on the word should, there's no doubt that he's going to sue the county and possibly the whole state of Wisconsin for wrongfully convicting him not once, but twice. As of right now, he lost a recent appeal, but he and his lawyer aren't giving up because they believe they're in the right. Kathleen Zellner. Kathleen Zellner is the lawyer for Stephen Bradley and in many ways is the one keeping the case alive, to the extent that even now in 2021, she's fighting hard for Avery and is stating that there are things coming that could seriously turn this case around. Whether she is able to do that is unclear, but she has gotten a potential retrial and even states that there is new evidence and even a new witness to go and help Avery's case out. Ken Kratz. Ken Kratz was appointed special prosecutor and headed the investigation and prosecutions of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. Kratz gained convictions of both defendants in trials in 2007, making him obviously a key part of the case. However, unlike many involved with the case that could speak, obviously, he did not participate in Making a Murderer, and was very open about blasting the documentary for what it tried to depict. He concluded by saying Netflix should either provide an opportunity for rebuttal or alert the viewers that this series was produced by and for the defense of Stephen Avery, and contains only the opinion and theory of the defense team. He then went on to list 9 reasons why he felt Avery was still 100% guilty, and went on to blast those who called him and his colleagues unfit to prosecute. There is more, of course, but I'm not a DA anymore. I have no duty to show what nonsense the planting defense is, or why the documentary makers didn't provide these uncontested facts to the audience. You see, these facts are inconsistent with the claim that these men were framed. You don't want to muddy up a perfectly good conspiracy movie with what actually happened, and certainly not provide the audience with the evidence the jury considered to reject that claim. He also blasted Season 2 for using the same playbook, and trying to shift the evidence and story to make it seem like Dassey and Avery were innocent. While he is no longer part of the case for various reasons, he has maintained that he believes them both guilty of the murder, which might honestly be part of the problem. But that's another matter entirely. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at the show Making a Murderer, and all that came from it? Are you surprised by the depth that the show went into, and how it pointed out certain things that don't add up in the case as a whole? What do you think about all that went down in it? Do you think that Dassey and Avery are innocent? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.